táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ dára púpọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ dára púpọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ dára púpọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Gba ẹ̀kọ́ ó dáni lójú pé yóò jìyà iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ dára púpọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa tẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa tẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa tẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Gba ẹ̀kọ́ ó dáni lójú pé yóò jìyà iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa tẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. dára púpọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ dára púpọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa tẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa tẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa tẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ dára púpọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ dára púpọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. dára púpọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ dára púpọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Gba ẹ̀kọ́ ó dáni lójú pé yóò jìyà iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ̀. Ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga. Ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá. Ẹ dákun yé ẹ̀yin òbí wa. Tẹ́ bá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga. Ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá. Ẹ dákun yé ẹ̀yin òbí wa. Tẹ́ bá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Ẹ dákun yé ẹ̀yin òbí wa. Tẹ́ bá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Gba ẹ̀kọ́ ó dáni lójú pé yóò jìyà. Iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé. Ẹ dákun yé ẹ̀yin òbí wa. Tẹ́ bá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé. Ẹ dákun yé ẹ̀yin òbí wa. Tẹ́ bá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Ẹ dákun yé ẹ̀yin òbí wa. Tẹ́ bá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ dára púpọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa bẹ́ẹ̀ lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa bẹ́ẹ̀ lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa bẹ́ẹ̀ lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa.
Education is the vaccine of violence. With these quotes from Edward James Olmos, I welcome you all to another edition of this wonderful program on radio, Education Today. Education Today is a program that aims to call the attention of the public to education matters as they affect the effective running of the educational system and the achievement of educational goals. This comes on air every Saturday from 3 o'clock to 4 p.m. West African time on this station, Light Radio. Our goal is to educate, inform, orientate, and entertain the society on educational matters, address issues affecting the educational system, influence public opinion, and drive effective educational policy directions to guide the formulators and implementers. For your comments, questions, and contributions, you can reach us on Facebook via facebook.com/Light Radio, on Twitter @The Light Radio, on Instagram Light_Radio, on YouTube Light Space Radio, and you can also call or send a message to us via SMS or WhatsApp on 0809-738-4000. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, the program continues. Go nowhere. If you just joined in, you are still on to Education Today on Light Radio. And right now, we'll take the news. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the news on Education Today, reaching you live from Light Radio. I am Nima Ibrahim. First, the headlines. Education. UNICEF raises fresh concern over learning crisis in Nigeria. Subsidy. Cross River declares primary secondary education free. 172 shortlisted for Multina Teacher of the Year competition. And on the foreign scene, Biden offers former University of Phoenix students debt forgiveness. Now the details. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has raised a fresh concern over the learning crisis Nigeria is currently grappling with, urging stakeholders, particularly the government at all levels, to, as a matter of priority, take stronger actions and commitments towards addressing the challenge. The global agency noted that the crisis, particularly at the basic education level, is stalling meaningful development in the country and globally by extension. The education specialist UNICEF Nigeria, Yetunde Oluwatosin, raised the concern at a two-day media dialogue organized by UNICEF Nigeria in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency, Lagos State, and the Edo State Universal Basic Education Board, recently. She urged all the stakeholders, particularly the government at all levels, to wake up and take concrete actions towards tackling the crisis. Similarly, the Universal Basic Education Commission has disclosed that Nigeria currently needs an additional 20,000 schools and 907,769 classrooms to be able to absorb the over 10.5 million out-of-school children in the country. Executive Secretary of UBEC, Dr. Amit Boboyi, made this known while briefing the Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Maman San, on the activities of the Commission. Director Press and Public Relations of the Federal Ministry of Education, Bem Gung, made this known in a statement available to newsmen earlier in the week in Abuja. Governor Basi Otu of Cross River State has declared free tuition for all Cross Riverians in public primary and secondary schools in the state, effective from the current academic session, to cushion the effects of the removal of subsidy on petrol. In a memo signed by the Secretary to the state government and Chairman of the Palliative Distribution Committee, Professor Owan Eno, Governor Otu also exempted the payment of senior secondary school examination fees in the state, beginning with the current academic session. The memo states that all these are already part of palliative measures to cushion the harsh economic reality. In a related development, Governor Chukwuma Charles Soludo of Anambra State announced free and compulsory education from nursery to junior secondary school JSS 3 in public schools in the state. He made this known while visiting Premier Primary School Obusi, Idemili North Council area on Thursday. The free and compulsory education policy is not just about tuition fees, but every other dues and levies running into thousands of naira for students per term. A total of 172 teachers from 29 states and the Federal Capital Territory would slug it out in the 2023 edition of the Martina Teacher of the Year competition organized by the Nigerian Breweries and Felix Ohiwere Education Trust Fund. Out of the 1,200 valid entries received, only 172 teachers with the highest scores have qualified for the next round. Speaking on the first grading exercise, the project consultant, Professor Uchenna Udiani, explained that the entries were carefully scrutinized and graded by a team of experienced lecturers. And at the end of the exercise, Udiani said 172 teachers made the cutoff with the highest scores and would be passed to the panel of judges for final grading that will produce the top 10 candidates and state champions. In her remarks, the Corporate Affairs Director, Nigerian Breweries PLC, Mrs. Shade Morgan, noted that the competition recorded its highest number of valid entries since inception, with 1,203 valid entries out of 1,499 submitted. The winner of the 2023 Multina Teacher of the Year competition and the state champions would be announced at the grand finale scheduled for October 20th in Lagos. The Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has approved the payment of 375,455,000 naira for both fresh and subsequent scholarships and bursary awards. A statement signed by the Lagos State Scholarship Board Fund said it was designated to alleviate the financial burdens faced by Lagosians pursuing higher education across the country. The Executive Secretary, Lagos State Scholarship Board, Mr. Abdurrahman Lekki, added that Sanwo-Olu was committed to advancing education within Lagos State. While explaining the breakdown of the allocation, Lekki revealed that 164,500,000 naira had been earmarked for the 2021-2022 Fresh Scholarship Award for undergraduates, masters and PhD Batch B, 2021-2022 Subsequent Scholarship Award for undergraduates and PhD as well, and 2022-2023 Subsequent Scholarship Award for undergraduates and PhD recipients once again, as well as the 2022-2023 Governor's Discretionary Awards. And on the foreign scene, the Biden administration said on Wednesday that it would forgive $37 million in debt for more than 1,200 former students at the University of Phoenix, a controversial for-profit college that the Education Department alleges misled students for years with false advertising. A national ad campaign promised prospective students that attending the school would lead them to receive preferential hiring treatment at a number of high-profile companies, including Microsoft and Adobe. An investigation conducted by the Federal Trade Commission and reviewed by DOE found that the university misrepresented its relationship with those businesses, which included many Fortune 500 companies. Richard Cordray, the Chief Operating Officer for Federal Student Aid, the division of DOE that provides financial aid to students, said on a call with reporters on Wednesday that the university brazenly deceived hundreds of students. And that's all for the news. But before we go, a quick recap of the major stories. Education, UNICEF raises fresh concern over learning crisis in Nigeria. Subsidy, Cross River declares primary secondary education free. 172 teachers have been shortlisted for Multina Teacher of the Year competition. And on the foreign scene, we told you that Biden has offered former University of Phoenix students debt forgiveness. That's all for the news. It was compiled by Nima Ibrahim and edited by OLUBUNMI KAZEEM. Don't forget, for the coverage of your educational programs, competitions, seminars, trainings, and other events, you can call or send us SMS on 0702-507-4268, or you can send us an email via educationmediaservices@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.
ọmọ tí kò fẹ́ kọ́ ó dání lójú pé yóò jìyà ọmọ tí kò bá kọ́ ó dání lójú pé yóò jìyà iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jáde wọ́n tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dá kún yé ẹ̀yìn òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jáde wọ́n tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dá kún yé ẹ̀yìn òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dá kún yé ẹ̀yìn òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa.
Welcome back. That's all we can take on the news for today, and right now we'll take the International Day segment. Today, good afternoon and welcome to the International Day segment of Education Today, where we take a look at different days earmarked by the United Nations to commemorate different aspects of our lives as global citizens. I remain Nima Ibrahim. Today, we would be considering the International Day of Sign Languages, commemorated every 23rd of September of the year. The International Day of Sign Languages is a unique opportunity to support and protect the linguistic identity and cultural diversity of all deaf people and other sign language users. During the 2023 celebration of the International Day of Sign Languages, the world will once again highlight the unity generated by our sign languages. Deaf communities, governments, and civil society organizations maintain their collective efforts hand in hand in fostering, promoting, and recognizing national sign languages as part of their country's vibrant and diverse linguistic landscapes. According to the World Federation of the Deaf, there are more than 70 million deaf people worldwide, and more than 80% of them live in developing countries. And collectively, they use more than 300 different sign languages. Now, sign languages are fully fledged natural languages structurally distinct from the spoken languages. There is also an international sign language which is used by deaf people in international meetings and informally when traveling and socializing. It is considered a pidgin form of sign language that is not as complex as natural sign languages and has a limited lexicon. Now, the Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities recognizes and promotes the use of sign languages. It also makes clear that sign languages are equal in status to spoken languages and obligates state parties to facilitate the learning of sign language and promote the linguistic identity of the deaf community. Furthermore, the UN General Assembly has proclaimed 23rd of September as the International Day of Sign Language in order to raise awareness of the importance of sign language in the full realization of the human rights of people who are deaf. The resolution establishing the day acknowledges that early access to sign language and services in sign language, including quality education available in sign language, is vital to the growth and development of the deaf individual and critical to the achievement of the internationally agreed development goals. It recognizes the importance of preserving sign languages as part of linguistic and cultural diversity. It also emphasizes the principle of nothing about us without us in terms of working with deaf communities. The proposal for the day came from the World Federation of the Deaf, WFD, a federation of 135 national associations of deaf people, representing approximately 70 million deaf people's human rights worldwide. The resolution A/RES/72161 was sponsored by the Permanent Mission of Antigua and Barbuda to the United Nations, co-sponsored by 97 United Nations member states and adopted by consensus on the 19th of December 2017. Now, the choice of 23 of September commemorates the date that the WFD was established in 1951. This day is also said to mark the birth of an advocacy organization which has as one of its main goals the preservation of sign language and deaf culture as prerequisite to the realization of the human rights of the deaf people. The International Day of Sign Language was first celebrated in 2018 as part of the International Week of the Deaf. The International Week of the Deaf was also first celebrated in September 1958 and has since evolved into a global movement of deaf unity and concerted advocacy to raise awareness of the issues deaf people face in their everyday lives. That's it on the International Day segment. I hope you've learned one or two things new about the day, as we are committed to bringing you more inspiring, informing, and educative segments on the program. I remain Nima Ibrahim. Education Today continues in a moment. Go nowhere.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Did You Know segment of Education Today, where we consider random ideas, thoughts, personalities, events, concepts, and celebrations that many people are unaware of. The objective is to broaden our horizon and increase our base knowledge of things around us beyond what is taught in schools and classes. I am Saeed Ademu. Today, we talk about the Amazon River Basin and rainforest. The Amazon is a vast biome that spans 8 rapidly developing countries: Brazil, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, and Suriname, and the French Guiana, and overseas territory of France. The Amazon covers an enormous 6.7 million square kilometers, equivalent to two-thirds of the size of the United States, an area twice the size of India, or roughly 28 times the size of the United Kingdom. The Amazon River Basin is the world's largest drainage system. The Amazon Basin supports the world's largest rainforest, which accounts for more than half of the total volume of rainforest in the world. The landscape contains about 1 in 10 known species on Earth, 1.6 billion acres of dense forest, around half of the planet's remaining tropical forest, 20% of the world's liquid freshwater, 2.7 million square miles in the Amazon Basin, which is about 40% of South America. The Amazon contains millions of species, most of them still undescribed, and some of the world's most unusual wildlife. It is home to 10% of known species on Earth, and incredibly, a new species of animal or plant is discovered in the Amazon every other day on average. It is one of Earth's last refuges for jaguars, harpy eagles, and pink river dolphins, and it is home to thousands of birds and butterflies. 3 dwelling species include southern two-toed sloths, pygmy marmosets, saddleback and emperor tamarins, and goodly monkeys all make the Amazon rainforest their home. The diversity of the region is staggering. This includes close to 50,000 plant species, about 2,400 freshwater fish species, and more than 370 types of reptiles. More than 47 million people, including over 400 different indigenous groups, live in the Amazon, which is more than anywhere else on Earth. And around 300 indigenous languages are spoken throughout the Amazon and depend on nature for agriculture, clothing, and traditional medicines. Most live in large urban centers, but all residents rely on the Amazon's natural bounty for food, shelter, and livelihood. People also use the region's waterway for transport. It is estimated that there are nearly 400 billion trees standing in the Amazon, which influence rainfall cycles throughout South America. This is by releasing 20 billion tons of water into the air every day. Remarkably, a single large tree can release over 1,000 liters of water in 24 hours, enough to fill 10 average-sized bathtubs. Therefore, a clear link exists between the health of the Amazon and the health of the entire planet. The rainforest, which contains an estimated 150 to 200 billion tons of carbon, helps stabilize the local and global climate. Deforestation releases significant amount of this carbon, which is having negative consequences around the world. Current figures suggest approximately 17% of the Amazon rainforest has been lost already. This is an area the size of France. Now you know. I am Said Aremo. That is all on the Did You Know segment for this week. Education Today continues shortly. Please stay with us.
Ọmọ tí kò bá ẹ̀kọ́ ó dá mi lójú pé yóò jìyà. Iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n tún fọ́lé. Ẹ̀dá kún yé ẹni òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n tún fọ́lé. Ẹ̀dá kún yé ẹni òbí wa lẹ́bà lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Ẹ̀dá kún yé ẹni òbí wa. Lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wá.
Welcome back. You are still on to Education Today on Light Radio, and I hope you've been, enjoying your time on the program. Right now, we are moving into the discourse segment, and our guest is very much here with us. Today, we will be discussing saving education from distraction and discouragement. You get that? Saving education from distraction and discouragement. In Nigeria, education is plagued with myriad of challenges. These include inadequate facilities and dilapidated infrastructure, antiquated laboratories and libraries, poorly trained and frustrated teachers, overcrowded classrooms, policy somersaults from governments, inadequate funding and lack of motivation for various stakeholders in the education sector. Unfortunately, this precarious situation of the sector has made many people lose interest and their confidence in education. Many teachers have left the profession for greener pastures in other sectors or outside the country due to their students who deride education as a scam. Many of these people also find solace in music, fashion, sports, acting, comedy skits, and other entertainment activities that bring in quick money. Now, the government is also not helping matters as it does not consider public education a priority, thereby leaving it like every other commodity to the market forces where price determines those who have quality access to it. In the same vein, corporate organizations have shifted attention from meaningful educational activities to entertainment and sports. Is this the way to go? Will these bring the desirable development our nation curiously seeks? How do we get out of this quagmire? These and many more are puzzles we seek answers to on today's discuss segment of Education Today. Joining us on the program is our in-house analyst and educational consultant, researcher and lecturer at the University of Lagos. It is no other than Mr. OLUBUNMI KAZEEM. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Nima. It's a pleasure to be here. Good afternoon,
right.
our listeners.
Thank you. So don't forget, you can always be part of the discourse by sending in your comments and questions to 0809 738 4000, 0809 738 4000, or you can as well drop your comments via the live video feeds on Facebook and YouTube. Before moving into the discourse proper, don't forget we'll always have our short quiz segment. So the short quiz question for today is, on what date was the World Federation of the Deaf established? Again, on what date the World Federation of the Deaf was mentioned on the program, if you were following? So on what date was that Federation for the Deaf established? Send your answer to the WhatsApp number 0809 738 4000, or you can as well drop it as a comment under our Facebook or YouTube live feed. The first correct answer wins the prize. Good luck. Now, delving into the discourse proper. First, how would you describe the state of education in Nigeria today, at the present?
Talking about the state of education in Nigeria, it's a combination of the good, the bad, the ugly.
Okay.
Yes. Because if we were to look at it critically, talk about education in Nigeria, there are some areas where things are probably going on smoothly. A lot of people are trying to cope. You're getting quality education.
I believe
Some
so.
people are putting effort, especially, let me say, to a large extent. For some quality private individuals who have established schools and some voluntary organizations, they have established, schools that, educationally speaking, they're actually doing well.
Okay.
There are we also have in terms of public education, there are some states that are actually doing a yeoman's job.
Yeah, they're trying.
They are trying. But if you look at it on a general note, you would say that to a large extent, the state of education in Nigeria is an indictment on the government of the Federation as well as the respective states across the Federation. It leaves much to be desired, because if you are to ask them, a lot of these people, is this the state of education when you were young?
Or can they even send their own
Can
words?
you send your own children,
Yes.
your words,
Yes.
to the same school that you claim you are governing?
Governor, yes.
Can you send your child to such a school? Because if you're to look at it, performance-wise, why is it that a lot of times you feel like, to a large extent, the students that we have, averagely, not individual or exceptional cases now, on the average, the quality of studentship that, is coming out of our educational system today, when you compare them to those of the past, a lot of times we would say that those of the past are better than those of the present. And that is, very bad. That our past is better than our today.
Present.
No, that's bad. It means that if care is not taken today might actually be better than the future of this country. Is that the kind of country that we want to
That would
live
be
in?
a nightmare.
So that would be a nightmare. God bless you. So as a result, I would say that in some areas, yes, you might say this, but by and large, on a general note, is that's why I said it's a combination of the good, the bad, and the ugly. There are so many ugly situations. Imagine that you're having about 20 million out of school children, and that does not, bring to, does not reflect the amount of money that this nation has the capacity to make. That does not also reflect the amount of money that has been, so to say, budgeted for education over the past few years. As much as we would say that it is very, very small compared to the need, even the amount that has been budgeted, what has happened to it? It has actually gone down the drain,
That's the
gone down into some
question.
private account, to some individual pockets. So at the end of the day, we live, especially when it comes to public education, is actually at the mercy of those in government. And unfortunately, you don't have those that are patriotic and passionate about the future of this country or the general well-being of the citizens at heart. You don't have them in government.
All right. Thank you for providing that, background to the topic. So now, relating all this to the topic of discourse is that what do you think are the challenges distracting and discouraging, our people's attention to education?
Now, I would pick it, like you said, we have distractions and we have discouragement.
Yes.
Now, let me probably pick it from the discouragement, because the discouragement can actually be responsible for the distraction.
Okay. Please enlighten us.
Good. So starting from the discouragement, you look at it that ordinarily education is on what we call the concurrent legislative list. It means both the federal government and the states legislate when it comes to education. So they enact policies, they implement policies.
Yes.
Now, at this level, at the level of the government, we don't have anything that we can say is actually motivating people. The students, the teachers, parents, and what have you. So that motivation is not there. For the students, probably let me put it this way. In the past, we talk about scholarships, talk about bursaries. Now, how many states, how many people benefit from government scholarship at different levels of the educational system? How many of them? That is that. If you look at the government funding of education, educational financing, what percentage of our educational, of our budget goes to education on an annual basis, such that we're able to provide the conducive environment for learning and teaching and learning to take place? So you talk about that. How about those that are working in the educational sector? What's the level of remuneration like? How fairly does that compare with other sectors of the economy that you would expect that, yes, at least based on the amount of input, the amount of training, the years of training, the effort that is actually being put into this nature of job, and especially for how critical education is to the sustainability of this nation, to the development of this nation, and to the future of this country. So to what extent are we actually encouraging those who are actually molding the lives of our future generation? So if you're to look at that, the encouragement is not there. How about the environment where they work? How about the environment where the students learn? So would you say there is encouragement in that light? So you would say no. Now, if you also go away from the government, even how about the corporate industries? How well are they supportive of education? You talk about that. Now, by the time you look at this, it means averagely, then even for the students that have gone to school, a lot of them that have graduated from school, where is actually the fruits of the education? Now that you talk about Nigerians, so many of them, you're told that the unemployment rate is about 33%. If you're saying that 33% of Nigerian youths are unemployed, now let me just be conservative that, okay, out of the 33%, probably just
40.
let me even be conservative, let me just even say 25%. So you're saying 25% of and that equates to almost about 60 million thereabout. Now if you say 66 million, if you say 25% of our 66 million are unemployed, do you know what that amounts to? That out of those, the 25% of those that are unemployed are actually those that are educated. That's where I'm going. Now, so if you're saying about 66 million people, if you divide that, so automatically you'll be talking about over 16 million people. So if you're saying that 16 million graduates are unemployed over the years, so tell me then, where is that encouragement for you to actually go to school? Now, unfortunately, too, you look about the fact that the cost of education is also very, very expensive. And you talk about parents that we are talking about 133 million Nigerians that are suffering from multi-dimensional poverty. So it means that a lot of them do not have the capacity to personally fund education as much as for their children. Yes. And that is why you would see that for those who have options, instantly they withdraw their children from public schools
and enroll them for soft skills.
Now, how about those who don't have the means to actually, enroll their children probably in private schools? The public schools are nothing to write home about. So at the end of the day, you would see that in terms of encouragement, it is not there. Now, if you now let us come down to distractions. Because now, in this case, when I talk about the distractions, for those that even tend to remain within the school system, what are some of the distractions they are facing? Yes. Because of the discouragement that we have talked about all this while. So a lot of them looking at their predecessors. So I'm looking at Brother Lanre that finished university. I'm looking at Auntie Chinemerem that finished university, does not have a job. I'm looking at Uncle Danladi that finished school, he does not have a job. Or I'm looking at Mr. Williams, who has finished, who has graduated.
Many years ago,
graduated. Now, I'm seeing that Mr. Williams, who works as a school teacher and is unable to pay his rent.
Or even NEPA bill. Rent is even annual.
He's unable to feed his family. Now, I'm looking at Mr. Adewale. Mr. Adewale is a barrister Adewale. And he's working in a law firm. And at the end of the day, his take-home pay is just 40,000 naira. And that 40,000 naira is not even enough. With this subsidy now, it's not even enough for him to pay the transportation cost to and fro his office. So he is frustrated. Now, such a person, such a child that is in school, he looks out there. He sees touts who control the path.
I know where this is heading.
These guys make money.
Daily cash.
Daily cash. If there is an issue, the government will summon them to a meeting and will be willing to meet with them and will be willing to share money with them so that at least in terms of in a way to negotiate that, please, we don't want trouble.
Exactly.
Now, the educated people don't get the attention of government, but touts get the attention of government. Now, he's seen a cyber fraudster who is riding in a 20 million naira jeep, that someone that is working 24/7 in a legal job is even unable to feed himself, not to talk of riding a car. And even if he continues that job probably for the next 10 years, he will not be able to afford a car. Now he's looking at that and he's saying, where do I go from here? Should I follow this path? And this is where I would end up. Or I should follow this particular path and I'll end up this way. He hears that, someone went to a reality show, TV show, strips naked, smokes, and does all that. And at the end of the day, if he wins that reality talent show, the prize money, if you look at the money, the accommodation, the car, the modeling contract, and what have you, the endorsement, is almost about 100 million naira. And you expect him to actually continue studying in school.
The distractions are truly out there.
So, or you want to tell an average northerner who wants to go to school, and probably because on one day he fell ill, and his colleagues, that day that he did not go to school, some of his colleagues were kidnapped. Or some of them were actually killed in the school. So the following day, you think he probably gets well, he would want to wake up and say, I must go to school today. See, That's why we're talking about the discouragement and the distractions. So in all of this, we are saying that we are really not doing enough to encourage people to be in school.
Indeed, indeed. The distractions and discouragements can be seen and felt by everyone. We just hope that, our stakeholders do better on this. So moving on, what are the effects that you think these challenges pose on the desire of people to, acquire education, or even further for those that are educated to a level?
Now, these challenges actually frustrate those who are already within the system.
Okay.
Probably those that are workers, those who, are students, the parents and things like that. Now, so in all of this, so it reduces their desire to actually acquire quality education. It reduces their desire to actually remain within the education sector. For those that are workers, it gets them frustrated and they are like, I need to get out of here.
Yes.
I don't have a future here. If I'm interested in my future and the future of my own children, then I don't belong here. Then I should probably seek, so to say, greener pastures. I don't know if at all the pasture is greener on the other side. The thing, you're like, oh, you hear of different stories. This one traveled abroad. He's doing well. At least he has not been deported. At least he is not complaining that we should send money to him. Rather, those of us that even claim that we have gone to school, we are working well, are the ones still looking up to them. I beg, send something. Even the crumbs from your table. At least, I beg. At all, ain't bad. By the time we convert that your money to our own naira that has actually, taken a whole lot of beating, probably at least I will still live like, it will cook something for my family. You're still looking up towards them.
Yes. So,
for those people, they want to jet out. You can see that the professionals want to jet out, the students want to jet out. So you're talking about the jackpot syndrome.
Yes.
Minus that is the fact that those that remain, that are unable to jackpot, now remain frustrated. And they transfer that aggression, probably the students. You're talking about students that are already distracted, that are already discouraged. Now you're also now adding the aggression of their handlers, to them. So at the end of the day, what do you also get? What you get in return is, I beg, now book up. School na scam. That is what you will get. So at the end of the day, even as a teacher, you cannot tell you see one of your students say, please don't involve in Yahoo. See, because I have a real life experience of someone say, go and tell this teacher, he said I should not do Yahoo. Go and tell him that the car that I'll buy with that Yahoo, I will use it to carry him because I know he's actually working.
Some of them are even ready to initiate their teachers.
See, let me, this
you cannot
one.
Die in this one. No.
Imagine someone telling you that. So at the end of the day, it actually makes us look as if there is no future with education. Whereas, as far as the development and the future of this country is concerned, without education, we can't get anywhere.
Indeed, the situation of Nigerian educational system is truly pathetic. So, moving on, my next question is that, are we truly putting education, as a priority in this?
No, education is really not on the front burner. It's not really on the front burner. So let's just not deceive ourselves. See, listen, we are not
1 to 5 or
on a scale of
10,
let me tell you. If you say on the scale of 1 to 10, it's a function of. It's not just about the fact that yes, we mouth it, because a lot of times, see some of these catchphrases, some of these slogans, some of these manifestos are very, very sweet. You have professionals helping them to draft, but in reality, is that political will there to really, effect the desired changes? So that's why, for me, it's not a priority, and it is not, because if it is a priority, starting from the kinds of policies that are formulated, starting from the category, the caliber of people that we give the responsibility of managing the sector, following that, the kind of allocation that we give, financial allocation or priority that we allocate to education. See, we will show if at all education is a priority to us or not. Looking at the fact that how well do we even assess the quality of what is coming out of the system?
Yes.
Let me give you this instance. See, now, in many states in Nigeria, including Lagos, my dear Lagos state. Now listen, if students perform poorly in school, do you know what happened? the government blames the teachers.
Definitely.
And at the end of the day, let me tell you, say you guys are not doing anything, so they query them. Do you not know what a lot of them do? They actually package the results. Even when the students are not doing well, they pretend as if they are doing well.
Push them. Let my
Then,
people
see,
go.
I don't want government wahala because I cannot actually go and be answering query. I don't want query. So at the end of the day, let us give them what they want.
Even
If we
it's
give
one
them,
mark.
no, see, let me tell you, you are saying 1 mark. It's a case of they want to see that these guys are, progressing. They are passing. So let us pass them so that at least we'll be free from government scrutiny and government pressure. Because if we tell the government the truth, government doesn't want to hear the truth.
It.
You know quite well you are not doing the right thing, but you want the right results.
Not even the government. What about the parents? Some of them are even the cause of their.
See,
a
a parent,
failure.
but now, because in public schools they might fail. In private schools, now, ordinarily in public school, that should have been the norm that you can fail. But
Yes.
government does not want to hear that students fail.
Fail.
So at the end of the teachers' package is so that they can be safe from government wahala. So it means the government itself doesn't want the truth. And the teachers will always continue to tell them the falsehood that they wanted. So that is that. Now come to private school. Unfortunately, it's not better.
It's not.
Now, a child is not doing well. The mother, the father knows that all that we do is just pay school fees. Whether or not our child is doing well, are we really giving
No
the right
monitoring.
follow-up? No monitoring. Are we monitoring? Are we doing the right follow-up? Are we even, discussing? Do we interact with the teachers of this pupils to really know where the problem, lies, and how we can also come into support in our own way, so that at the end of the day, see, we are all developing these children together. Now, the moment a school says the child fails,
And to be repeated.
what is it? The next is they withdraw the child. So you mean I will just be paying? So after all the money they have collected, now that's the mentality. You think it is your money that makes your child to pass. So at the end of the day, because you also don't want the truth, what do? You withdraw the child and you take the child to another school. Because you are willing to pay, those are like, we need their money. And even the schools that they have withdrawn, they say, see, Madam Class Teacher, you better give yourself brain. Because if they should withdraw another person, it's your money that will go.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, the teacher doesn't want the salary to be deducted. The school owner doesn't want to lose the money from the parents.
Yes.
So what do you now do? You package as well. So we continue to deceive ourselves until that deception can no longer help us. And what do we have? Frustrated set of people, because you are taking them to a level where they don't merit.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, you will not blame when they now the manifestation is usually at the tertiary level. Sometimes you ask yourself, how did this person pass exam?
Pass WAEC.
This person passed WAEC.
And
This
even
person
wrote
did
JAMB.
JAM and gained admission. And now, because the exam, you now have to write. So you are saying from the right of the, what is this?
Students wrote
So at the end of the day, they find it difficult to even survive the first year in school, for they are rusticated or eventually withdrawn on the basis of academic incompetence. Or for some, probably they just managed, they struggled, and along the line, then the next thing they start seeing so many carryovers, and because they cannot withstand it, some of them eventually probably go into cultism or into drugs. Cultism to threaten the lecturers to make them pass by fire, by thunder. Or drug abuse because they feel like the pressure is too much. They cannot face their parents at home. They cannot face their colleagues in school. Then they find solace in drugs.
Or even suicide. Some of them go
Yeah,
as far as taking their
that.
own lives.
Yeah.
Wow. It's been a really eye-opening, discourse this afternoon. So moving on quickly, you have highlighted many of the, distractions and discouragements against education in Nigeria. Now, I think we have one at hand, which is the worsening inflation in Nigeria, at the moment, and the hike in school fees across all levels of education, the primary, secondary, and even tertiary institutions are not spared. What effect do you think this will have on the education sector?
Well, the reality is we will have worsening out-of-school situation in the country. Worsening. No, because ordinarily out-of-school situation is already bad.
Worse.
It's
Oh,
bad. So now by the time you add those who are already within the school system,
Exactly.
now being forced out because of inability to pay, what do you have? More people out of school. Then what does that imply? Most likely you have more drug addicts, more kidnappers, more Boko Haram terrorists, more militants,
Wow.
more,
List is
it
endless.
continues like that. More Yahoo Yahoo boys. More girls who go into hookups. Because let me tell you, see, I have this example of one of the students of University of Lagos that was protesting the hike in school fees. And he's saying, now that you have increased the school fees to 200,000 naira, how many hookup do I have to do? Even with hookup, I cannot cough out that amount of money.
Imagine.
The girl was crying. That even if I do hookup, I cannot still pay this money. Now, how many men do I have to sleep with?
Hookup is not even an option on the table.
Look at. See, there was this case of a student of University of Lagos again that was seen at Bagada,
Yes, just recent.
with a placard saying, please help me, keep me in school. I don't want to drop out of school. Is that what we want?
Our children to turn to
That is what
beggars.
we are turning our
Just
children
because
to.
we
See,
want
our
them to
children
be
have turned
educated.
beggars because they don't want to drop out of school. Are we thinking at all? And you think these people that eventually get frustrated would allow your own children that you have sent
succeed.
abroad to succeed?
And come back home and be leaders.
And come back home and lead them. See, they play. Just like the people who say on the street. They play. Don't worry. Now, I remember one of the statements made by former governor of the CBN, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, that if we don't have a change of attitude, especially political class, the elites, the way we are treating the poor masses, a time will come that the poor masses will have nothing to feed on except the children of the rich. They will gather around a car being driven by one of the children of the rich and say, your fathers actually turned us to who we
This,
are.
and they will
And at the end of the
vandalize
day,
the car.
if they vandalize the car, it's probably still there. Good.
Wow.
If they don't kill that child and probably burn that car alive.
Taking the
just
sins
like that.
of the father.
Yes, now visiting the
children.
sins of the father on the children. If care is not taken, see, you think you have solace, you think police will protect you. Continue.
I honestly hope and pray that it doesn't even get to that level in this country. Because
See, prayer is not enough.
I-
Because the mentality is not changing. The attitude is not changing. Look at, we are talking about worsening situation, this inflation, this fuel subsidy thing, and so many other things like that. The next thing we are having, because you remove this fuel subsidy on the pretext that so that you can save money to be able to spend on other critical sectors of the economy like education, like health, like infrastructure. Unfortunately, what do we have? Now you are withdrawing that and you are also increasing school fees at the same time. We cannot even buy over-the-counter drugs, prescription drugs again in our hospitals. Our roads are terribly bad. And no governance is taking place. And you think we would smile that things will go on smoothly. See, we are just
things
joking.
will be fine.
Seriously, we are just joking. Yes, things will be fine. Nigerians now hope. They call this renew hope, but it's turning to renewed shege.
You need shege baza. Okay, so we'll go on a quick break. I hope you remain here till we come back. Please stay with us. Welcome back. You are still listening to Education Today on Light Radio, and we have been discussing saving education from distraction and discouragement, and our guest has been Mr. OLUBUNMI KAZEEM. Don't forget to, follow us, like and share the video or across all social media platforms, and the discourse continues. Mr. KAZEEM, with the current situation now, what do you think can be done to salvage the situation? Because I believe that Nigeria will get better. So we will continue to, dish out these pieces of advice, these solutions, and hope that they take it and things get better, honestly.
First is there must be a change of attitude by everybody, including the students themselves, including the
Okay.
teachers, the parents,
Okay.
and the people in authority, because it's a collective responsibility. But then we must start from those at the top. And I'm saying this because with all these things happening, you have not stopped collection of taxes. You have not stopped collection of levies from the people. And unfortunately, you're collecting all these things, getting the revenue left, right, and center, getting everything. And the people don't have anything in return. Rather, what they are seeing is that you are only using it to actually take care of the political elites, to take care of yourselves. So, and that's where the frustration is actually coming from. So, that attitude that we need to accord education its rightful place in the scheme of things in this country. We must give it priority. If we prioritize education, see, there are lots of revenues that we can actually get from education if we actually prioritize education properly. If you devote education money, a lot of money to education, you will get a lot in return. I'll give you an instance. Do you know the billions of dollars that we spend on an annual basis as a result of education tourism? That Nigerians actually go abroad to actually to school. If that amount of money we have invested in education, it means we'll be able to retain such billions of dollars within the education sector. If we do the same for health, we would also retain the same for health. How many Nigerians go to India, go to UK, go to Germany, go to US for medical treatment every day? Now, if we are able to fix all these things, it means we can also make money here in Nigeria. See, private universities are making money because we have virtually killed the public school system. So private schools are thriving, primary and secondary. Now they are also thriving at the tertiary level.
Yes.
Now we have more private universities than the public universities.
Functioning.
See, very, very functional. So that we will not just be giving free advert to some of these universities. See, there are universities in Nigeria that if you want the best of education, you will have it in Nigeria. Functional education, not just theory that they teach you in class and you cannot see the reality of what you are being taught. I'm not talking about those ones. Universities that are also producing, even they are entrepreneurial in nature. They are making money. They are also getting attraction or funding attraction from outside Nigeria because getting international recognition because of the quality of jobs, quality of services being rendered in those universities. Okay. So it means that if you do the same for the public universities that have actually served us for over 40 years, automatically we can actually, return to the good old days. So if we do the needful on the part of the political elites, then we'll get there. Now, apart from those ones, even for us as students, let me tell you, you must realize that it's about your life, not about the life of those people. So if you value your own life and you know the value of education, nobody, and I repeat, nobody would force you out of the school. You will do what it takes to keep yourself in school. Because you would see it as a survival
and as a priority.
As a priority. So that is, and for parents, let me tell you, you must understand the fact that, see, your children are your business. They are your investments. Now, if you consider it like that, and you consider it that their education is your responsibility, now, you will not wait for government before you get your children educated. And you would not find an alternative outside the school system as a means of, as an alternative to education. You won't consider anything outside the school system as an alternative to education. Rather, you would see it as a form of reinforcement of what they are, learning in school. So if we understand the priorities like that, then automatically we'll get it. And for even corporate, organizations, see, the reality is everything is not money. Everything is not money.
It's not money.
Now you're spending millions of naira on those who only go there to show bomb, who go there to smoke, who go there to drink and misbehave,
and
party and do all sorts. Now I asked this question. That was one reality TV show. It's a debate. It did not go beyond one season. The debaters, yes. It was sponsored by one of the banks in Nigeria. It did not go beyond that one season.
Because there was no sponsor.
You say, are they not the ones to sponsor it? They sponsored the first edition. So why didn't they continue? So that's the question. Now, those that actually, go for competitions, educational competitions, mathematics, robotics, what have you, entrepreneurship, STEM, all those ones like that. What is the prize money for those competitions?
100,000 marks.
And you now put the check, one big one like this. And someone that is just shaking bonbon is getting 100 million naira. Someone that is drinking, that is dancing, is getting a car, is getting a house. And those that are using their brains, those that are solving the problems of the society, they are getting, if they get 100,000, they should thank God. No, see, I have seen a station where a best graduate student of a particular department was given a goat. A goat. See, let me tell you, even in uni, like there are some courses that during convocation, what they give you as best graduate student for a first class in your probably department, they will tell you one book prize to the tune of 5,000. That prize money has been there for over 20 years. Eventually, you don't get the prize, you don't get the book, other than certificates.
And the recognition.
Which recognition? Which stupid recognition? What does it do for you? So let me tell you, no, it's a fact now. So at the end of the day, where is the encouragement for these children? For these students? So the corporate world must come in. See, this is the area where we need you. Come and do this as your CSR. Not in those who are showcasing their bomb. At the end of the day, they will be forced to actually go and do liposuction. Is that what you want? And at the end of the day, do you now expect that people like that will be able to come to... Now, imagine, can you employ such people
I want that
as workers
too.
In your banks or in your companies and things like that? What value will they add to your companies? So, see, these are the issues. What problem in Nigeria would they be able to solve? And those who are really solving the problems, they don't get encouragement.
They don't even get your attention. See,
yesterday I was watching one program, Community Report, on a TV station in Nigeria. And the final year project of, those students at the University of Jos, their final year project, they actually constructed a car.
Yeah, I think I saw it too.
A car. And you tell me, for instance, that we cannot have, car manufacturers or even some banks or some, philanthropies say that, okay, this department, can we have a production plant in the school? Are you interested? Come up with a proposal. We would establish a production plant in the school and you mass produce this particular car. And at the end, they will enter into a partnership. Yes. You patent it, and at the end of the day, there will be a profit sharing formula. We'll help you market this. This should go out that this is our own product. We talk about Ferrari, talk about all these big cars. Are you saying that we cannot produce them here in Nigeria? So it's not as if we don't have the brains, but where is the support? What is the encouragement? Now, this one you can do. You don't have to wait. Government doesn't. It's not government that will do that one. Let me tell you, it's not government. The one that concerns government, provide the security, provide the enabling environment, provide meaningful wage for those who are in public education. Those are the things we are talking about. So I think that by the time we look at some of these areas, then we'll be able to do the needful. So it is important that we must accord education its priority. Or we must understand it is our future. It's not just the future of these children.
Yes.
Because your own future and the future of your own children that you think you are sending abroad is at stake if you don't take care of these ones.
Because it will come back to haunt you.
See, let me tell you, is Boko Haram not haunting us in Nigeria? Are the bandits not haunting us? Now look at the bandits that have gone to attack the students of Federal University of Gusau. They kidnapped 20. The security agents have only been able to rescue 6. Now you think that those that are left in that school will be willing to stay back? Now minors that, imagine if it were your own children. See, there is one private university in Kaduna State that these bandits actually went in and they kidnapped them. They were asking for millions of naira as ransom. Now, so you think you have the money. You think they would allow your own children to rest. Exactly. So at the end of the day, don't worry, you make the money and we'll collect it from you in our own way. Yes. Is that what you want? So let us not allow it to degenerate to that level. Yes. Let us not encourage that. Let us give the encouragement to those who are in school now so that they can remain in school. And at the end of the day, they can have unique solutions to Nigeria's problem. Solutions that are peculiar to us. Not just solutions that you go and copy from outside the world that will not fit into our system here.
Indeed, I'm sure even our listeners and our audience, they don't want us to end the discuss segment right now, but I'm afraid that's all we can take on the discuss segments for today. We would like to appreciate our in-house analyst, Mr. KAZEEM, for the beautiful insights he has provided on today's discourse. So we move on to the words on the marble segment, and this is the segment where we take a look at memorable quotes that are educational and as well inspirational to everyone. Today we have a quote from Peter Broham, and according to Peter, education makes a people easy to lead but difficult to drive, easy to govern but impossible to enslave. I hope you get the point from that quote. That's our words on the marble for today. Education is essential for protecting and empowering the society as a whole. A community made up of well-educated and invested citizens has the right ingredient to thrive. Education also makes us know and demand our rights. Do not be distracted, or you students, or discourage, nor allow anyone anywhere take that right away from you. So be educated. Do we have a winner for our quiz question?
What's the question again?
The question is, on what date was the World Federation for the Deaf established? And okay,
we have some people that actually sent in comments. We can recognize them.
Yes, we will do that. We will do that. So we have Ayub Arowoye on Facebook. Education do need the priorities we can get. It needs a total overhaul to fit our immediate society. Thanks once again, Mr. KAZEEM and his crew. Thank you very much, Mr. Ayub. We appreciate your, joining us online. We also have a message from Udoigbe.
Udoge Ivowe, this man is an elderly person and a professor.
Wow. Thank you very much, Mr. Udoge. We really
he says, thank you very much. The summary of your discourse is that our governments are not serious and they have no sufficient political will for education in Nigeria. There are good plans, but poor or no implementation prevailed. We had student loans board to replace government scholarship because of lack of funding. It went down. Now it was just revamped by legislation, and yet no sign of seriousness to make it work. When an informed person refuses to do well, it is very difficult to convince him to take care of the poor because of his wickedness and bad mindset. We are rich but poor in mind, and therefore cannot progress unless and until we behave fairly, equitably, justly, and embrace praise. Thank you, Prof. Thank you for that wonderful comment. All right,
now, so the answer to the question, since we obviously do not have any response from anyone, or do we have anyone for WhatsApp? Okay, so the answer to the question is the World Federation for the Deaf was established on the 23rd, today, as a matter of fact, on the 23rd of September in the year 1951, which is why today has been chosen to commemorate the International Day of Sign Languages. Now, this is to inform you, our esteemed listeners, that you can advertise your products and services and also showcase your events on our program. This you can achieve by calling the number 0703-9538-998, or you can call 0702-507-4268. Thank you very much for joining us today. We do not take your presence for granted. Let us know how you feel about this program through our various platforms on Facebook /Education Today, on X at Education Today, on Instagram Education _2DAY, on YouTube Education Today. And you can as well send us an email. You want to ask about our services, or you want us to cover your events, your educational events, or anything at all. You can reach us on educationmediaservices@gmail.com. Many thanks to the entire crew of Education Today and the management of Lights Radio. The supervising producer has been Saeed Aremu. Do join us same time next week. I remain Nima Ibrahim. See you next week, and goodbye.